to change that, right, Clarice? So welcome to our show, the CBA Show. Hashtag become brave again. And Clarice and I will launch this show to really try to encourage everyone, you and me, everyone watching this right now or joining us on the replay to become brave again. So far we have interviewed quite a few successful entrepreneurs, including ourselves.
Yes.
So Clarice Lynn and myself and Candyce, Yash, Sabrina and Dot. So those are the people who have come to our show within the past 6 months. And today we are going to do a mid-year review to share some of our takeaways and also some of the commonalities that we discovered among all those entrepreneurs. So thank you so much for joining us live. And I believe we are live on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on Twitter / Periscope and YouTube. So if you happen to join us live right now, let us know in the comment section where you are joining us from. And we are excited to get started.
Yay. That was a great introduction. I think it's going good. And yes, I was really excited to have this session today together with you. I especially like after chatting to all our different guests, listening to the story, and then we realized that we resonated a lot with quite a number of stories. So I thought it was really
Yeah, yeah,
exciting.
yeah. Oh, I see you are live on LinkedIn. Yeah. So maybe we can bring like our interview by sharing with our audience the why. So what inspired us to start this monthly show, CBA? So CBA stands for coming and becoming and aligning. So like maybe we can share with our audience. Hey, I see Brian is here and quite a few, Emily, Marie, quite a few of you guys are here. Thank you for joining.
I think when we met, it was about nearly a year ago, and then we met actually on LinkedIn. We were connected through I believe was Making, who happens to be one of our upcoming guests. We'll talk about her later, and then we got to chat and Skype, and then you invited me onto your show, and we had a couple of Skype conversations, and we realized, oh my god, we actually have something in common. We moved countries, we started things anew, we had similar Asian background, and we overcome our past beliefs, of breaking those beliefs, evolving to be a new person, trying to find ourselves and aligning with our new beliefs. So we were like, oh my god, we want to start a show together. I mean, I was thinking about starting a show like probably some years ago, but I wasn't sure, what I should be talking about. So when I, heard that you were also wanted to start a show, I was like, yay, let's do it. I mean,
Yeah,
actually, you were the one who
yeah.
said, let's do it, and I was like, okay.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, like, I think, how on LinkedIn, when someone else comments on your post and you can discover this person, I think that's how I discovered you. And I think it was the time when you did your very first LinkedIn video, you were asking people to write meaningful comments. I was like, wow. And you got so many engagement and so many comments for that particular video. I was really impressed by your Clarice, and I was like, this lady is amazing with my normal crazy personality. You guys should know that by now. And I sent you a super long message. I think that's how we kind of connected. Yeah, but our show is really try to, even though our stories inspired us to get started, and our purpose is to inspire everyone, just become a kid. Remember that feeling, how we are so adventurous and trying this, mischievous sometimes, trying this and trying that, and really try to inspire people like you, everyone watching us live right now, to become brave again. Yeah, and maybe we can share with our audience some of the stories that we interviewed and people that we interviewed so far, and which one kind of resonated with each of us the most.
Right. So we had like a couple of chats, which was me creating their own path, going from moving from Singapore to London, and then we had you moving from Beijing to Philadelphia and to South Korea, and then now back to Philadelphia. And then in
That's right.
March,
Yeah.
yeah, in March we had Candyce Costa, a single mom's journey becoming unstoppable. She moved from Brazil to eventually London. She was living in quite a number of countries before she moved here. So her story was really cool. And we had Yash Diwadkar from India to Dubai to Canada. That was in April, and now he has actually moved back to Dubai. So he's starting on like a
Mm-hmm.
new journey back again now that he's living with his where his parents are, his family are. And in May we had Sabrina Cadini from Italy to San Diego and planning to head back to Italy. So yeah, a hustler's wake up call to life work balance. She shared a lot of good tips about her struggles with her health as well, and settling like in a new country, and how she was doing events and eventually went into becoming a brain fitness coach. So that was really exciting. And last month we had Dot Long, yeah, was super cool. And we talk about her journey from growing up in LA, Los Angeles, and moving to Barcelona. And recently, she's moved to Israel to start a new chapter with her partner. So that was really exciting. And for myself, I would say the journey which resonated the most, it was actually Dot. Dot Long.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when she was talking a lot about like her family, her parents from Taiwan were migrated to US, and she had the typical education, and she got the job after she graduated. She had a good job, and she decided like one day like this wasn't for her, and she decided to move to Barcelona. I think that was really
Mm-hmm.
resonated with me as well, because I made the move myself when I moved from Singapore to London. Like I didn't have a job here in London itself. Similar to Dot, we didn't have a job. We just thought, let's move over there. Let's try to create a new life there, and see what's going to happen. So in a way, that's sort of like we didn't plan every single thing, and the life sort of didn't turn out the way we would have imagined, because it was just not something that we could have planned. You know,
Yeah, yeah. I hear you. I also resonate. I mean, I love all of those stories. And we carefully chose each of our guests to come here to share their unique stories. But I also resonated with Dot, her story so much. And like her courage to figure things out, right? Do you remember she mentioned that when she went to out leader and highly sought up 3 paragraphs? I was like, wow. So really just her courage to figure things out. And I think for many of us, we are entrepreneurs, social medias, and like for myself right now, I'm launching a program. I think just the fear of being in the unknown, right? And just try, we feel like we need to have a best practice, what to do first, what to do second. And we need to follow those kind of rules and or roadmaps to do something. But what we learn from all those people's stories is that sometimes, the best decision that we can make is to not follow any rule book, right? Just embrace the unknown and kind of figure things out. And which was also, you mentioned 2 years ago, and our entire family relocated from Philadelphia to South Korea. I could almost show you guys my live streaming video from 2 years ago. I was crying. I was like, I'm going to lose my job. What to do? I didn't have any friends in Korea, blah, blah, blah. But we came. And but the last 2 years in Korea have been a life changing, career changing. It is the best decision I have ever made in my entire life. And it is also the craziest decision without any like rule book, what to do, no plan whatsoever. Totally embrace the unknown. So I resonated with that part a lot. And even for you, Clarice, you mentioned like you were trying so hard to find a job, right? And then later you quit your job, right? You totally embrace almost like the unknown. And look at you today. You are going to speak at Inbound. I'm so proud of
Oh
you.
yeah.
And I can't wait to be in the audience and clap for you, things like that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and then we'll be meeting in real life finally.
Yeah, very, very excited, very, very excited. So maybe you can also share with us how you have embraced the unknown, like, right? Like, share with us the journey that you quit your job. You were trying so hard to find that job, to keep that job, and then you quit your job.
That was, I think, the biggest move I've ever made. Because I don't see myself as someone who is brave. I think what even my childhood friends, my friends from school, they see me as someone who's like following the rules, being the good girl, following the books. I would
Mm-hmm.
say my parents would looking back, they would think I was a really good girl until I decided to move to London. Oops. But I think for myself, do you know? Remember, I think in one of our stories or one of our show, we talk about being comfortable with being uncomfortable, getting comfortable with being
Yes, yes.
uncomfortable. I think this is. I don't think anyone would ever say, "Oh yes, I'm totally 100% always comfortable with being uncomfortable." I think there's always a like you know a period, like maybe some people there's like a short period to sort of get used to this idea if they have not thought about it before. And it also depends a lot on the risk that you are going to take. If there is low risk, oh well, we are going to be comfortable because it's not that uncomfortable. But the higher the risk, something that there's huge unknown, huge factor of unknown, high risk.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to, for example, like where you are right now, you might be like dropping back. I don't know, maybe like less of what you have right now. You'll feel like, okay, that sounds like a risk, so you might be uncomfortable with the idea. Because I think everyone, I think as adults, what we are doing over the years, we are becoming more experienced, we are learning more things, we are hopefully
Totally.
earning more money, we have more to lose, sort of in a case. I think that's what we are always fearful of. So whenever we enter a new stage or new phase in life, and suddenly like you think, oh my god, like I'm going to lose something, you just feel
Mm.
scared. And I think the idea of becoming comfortable with uncomfortable is always a ongoing process, ongoing
Oh,
cycle,
definitely,
no matter where you are,
definitely.
who you are. I mean, like, for example, just a really simple example is like the age. Every year you increase in 1 year age. So you have never been in that age before. You have never experienced things before. When you were kids and then growing up. How does it feel like to be old? We don't know. So that's also going to be an unknown for us, at that point. So this is something that we just have to sort of go along with it and then see where it goes.
Yeah, yeah, totally. As you were talking about today, I just listened to a podcast interview, and the lady she was making such a great point. The the bigger the decision, the bigger the result, right? For you,
Oh,
quitting a job was a big decision. For us, for me,
yeah.
coming to Korea was a huge decision. But the bigger the result, right? And now I'm making another big decision. I quit my job myself. I'm building my own school, and I feel like I'm really like falling from the sky at the same time building an airplane or parachute. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
really going and figuring things out at the same time. I feel so scared, but I feel so excited. And I think this is just going to be part of my life now. And the other day, my husband and I, we were talking, trying to understand who we are, who we have become, right? I feel like on this journey, our identity, who we are, is constantly changing and evolving. Like my husband and I, we decided that like in the future when we are making like big decisions, we love change. We want to make self-reinvention and change to be a part of our life. And it is really, really interesting. And then as you change yourself and becoming a new person, and I don't know if you notice this, and the circle of my friends is also changing. Like some friends used to be friends with me and we don't talk anymore. And then I have new friends. I used to feel really like nostalgic or like upset, I don't know, emotional about it. But now I have embraced this. I feel sad to lose old friends, but at the same time, I feel excited about new friends. Like you and I have become really close, and about this new friendship that we have developed. And I think, just like changes, like more changes like that. Yeah.
I think you brought up a really, really good point about the friends. I think that was also one stage of life that I was going through, especially when I moved from Singapore to London. So I had quite a number of like close friends back then. And then when I changed, I think not many of them or not all of them could actually see that this is like a new me. They were more used to the old me, and actually I felt like some of the ideas or some things that I used to do, I don't quite believe in them anymore. I think I believe like Yash in one of in yeah when we had him in April, when we talked about it a bit, he said like when he moved to Canada from Dubai to Canada, it was like a new environment, new friends totally, and nobody expected him to be the old him. So it was easier for him to start, becoming the new person, or sort of like doing what he felt as he was changing the environment, that people could accept him for who he is. I think that's the thing. And then along the way, I think during this evolution process, we sort of become, I think some friends just have to go. I mean, not in a difficult way. It's just more of like, if your friends around you grow together with you, then the friendship will become stronger and you can share more ideas. Like I have a friend in Singapore who actually she started her own business as well, and she'll be asking me, oh, I have this new website, what should I do? And then I'm really excited for her, and these are stuff that we can we have new common topics to
Yeah.
talk about.
Yeah, totally, totally. And I think another, like, that's kind of a really great summary of this point, like, right, becoming comfortable with being uncomfortable and just embracing the unknown. Like, I think another point that really resonated with me was truly believe in yourself, right? Like, so many of them, like Sabrina and all those Candies, and each of them has their unique set of challenges, mistakes, failures, crises, health, mental health, physical health, all those things. But somehow they all bounce back, right? So I think, as entrepreneurs, and also I think for me, like even though sometimes my environment or my parents are telling me like I'm not good enough, or my education, the society is telling I'm not good enough, but some part or somehow deep inside me, I truly believe in myself. And I want to prove to others that I'm good, I'm not what they are telling me. So I think that is a kind of a thread I see among quite a few, almost all of the people that we interviewed.
Yes. Okay. No, I thought it was a lag. Yeah. I think the common themes is that I would say everyone at the beginning, they try to figure out what they are going through, and then they try to make the best out of the situation. I think that's like a really common thing that all of them had. They were either like chasing their dreams, or they just sort of want to become better. They have some goals that they want to do, and then they just strive to become like a better version of themselves, or becoming the best possible version. Yeah, because I remember
Yeah.
about remember Yesh, when he was
Yes.
sharing with us how he was picking up learning to brush his teeth with his left hand, and then trying to master himself, like with the facial expression. moving muscles that's never been.
So true.
Yeah.
So true. I think, do you agree that I think life is a journey to understand who we are and then master who we are. And I think the journey, at least for me, to be outside of my comfort zone, to embrace the unknown, to travel to different countries, to speak at events, was also a journey to try to understand myself, my strengths, my weaknesses, so that I can leverage who I am to grow my brand, to grow my business. I feel like this self understanding, self awareness is such an important piece that many of us we kind of overlook. I think our education, talking about education, that's something I'm so passionate about. I think our educational system doesn't really prepare us to understand who we are. The journey going within, I think that is a big missing piece in our maybe continuing education and formal education, and even like many of the online classes we took. It's always learning about strategies and oftentimes tactics, but like to really understand who you are, this inner journey, I feel like it's kind of missing. But it is so important to have a successful career, to have a happy life. I think, I talk too much. I will stop. I think that's why we called our show the CBA show. The A part is aligning, to really align our professional aspirations with our inner self, who we are. Like I have never felt as happy, as authentic as I am now. Literally, it takes no energy to be me. But I was not like this before.
No, I think it's really good. I mean, like you just passed your 40th birthday this month, right? Yay, 40th. And then I remember in
I'm
your
so happy.
I remember in your post, you put it on Facebook, something about the life begins after 40.
I think so. Yeah.
Yes.
I don't care what
No,
others say or think about me. I don't really care. I now start to get like comments that are not very kind, not very nice. I was like, you know what? Thank you. I don't really care.
I think that's a really powerful thing when you start to, do things you really believe in. You don't worry so much. I think that was something that has what you mentioned before about this external validation, which I always believe that it has partly to do with our education system. When we were learning, we were not learning life skills or evolving skills. We were learning static skills. So there's always right and a wrong, which is not true. There is no absolute right and wrong. This is only right for maybe a specific person at a certain time in a certain place. But 2 years later, it might not be right anymore. It could be, it's wrong. Or you
Yeah.
make another choice. You do something different. So to me, in that aspect, it's like we need to learn more about ourselves and those parts of ourselves that has been covered or buried by um, external beliefs that we shouldn't believe in anymore. I think it start to shatter those old beliefs and explore and show our true self. Yeah.
It's so true, so true. I don't know about you, Clarice. I used to have so much like self doubts. I feel like an imposter. I don't want to say that feeling is completely gone. I still feel that way from time to time. But I truly believe like the more we believe in ourselves, the bigger the results that we see. Like we really have to see that reality in our mind. Us offering value, being successful. If we don't believe in ourselves, first, it is very hard to see that external manifestation of our dream. Like for me, my transformation, I don't know if I remember, I don't know if I share with you, was really because of Mark Schaefer. I went to a private event organized by Mark Schaefer at a social media conference in San Diego. And I will never ever forget what Mark Schaefer told me. He was like, I stop putting yourself down. You're here, I'm here, we are the same. I cried when he told me that because I was going through my reinvention journey. I really worked hard to believe in myself, to do this inner journey, to work on myself. And then really after that, I started to see more and more changes in my life. I'm still doing the same thing, but my mind is thinking differently. My mindset has changed.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think I can, and I mean, I'm also on the same path as you, because what happened was when I was back in school, I was studying more of like science stuff. I mean, I'm not such a design or sort of like art person and things like that. So one of the things I realized when I, went into marketing and then went to start my own business is that I had friends who were very similar to me. We were all very, analytical. We were always thinking in a similar manner. You know, not any of us were interested in photography, like videos or doing like live stream. I mean, these are more fun stuff for those people. We are more of like, okay, let's write this document, let's write words, let's read, you know. So, so the thing is, as I go on this journey, I realize there are things that I thought I couldn't have done before, but because now I see myself in a different way, I'm like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
actually, I can do it. Maybe I wouldn't do it like 200% like someone else, but it's not impossible as long as I'm willing to spend time on it, as long as I'm willing to, you know, try new things, then things are going to happen. So,
Yeah, yeah, totally, totally. I so agree with you. And then and you're talking about like putting like going all in. Like I think for me, as being a minority, I feel this kind of, I don't know, maybe pressure to do better, to prove myself to others, because I just feel like in this industry we don't see many people like you and me, and that's why when I first discovered you, I was really excited to see like a yellow face, so to speak, like myself. I was like, wow, that is so refreshing, because to many like to me that gives me hope, and I think many others probably feel the same way. Seeing people like you and me put ourselves out there to do a live streaming show, to speak, to do this and that, and I think it gives hope to those people who are minorities not there yet, like I mean putting themselves out yet. And I feel like encourage and inspire them. Like I felt inspired when I saw people like you, and I hope to work really, really hard to be able to inspire those people who are not out yet to make a small change in their lives.
I hope so too. And actually, one of
Yeah,
the
yeah.
things is, I mean, for minority, I have a different point of view from you. But minority, one of the things about me moving to London is that I'm the minority here, as you say, like yellow skin. There's not a lot of people, but because there's not many of us here, and I feel sort of less compelled and more
Mm,
freedom, because there's
that's for sure.
there's no definition of how I should do what I do, or why I should be doing this, or this is the standard way for you to say something, because they don't really know, because there are not many of us here. So I felt more
That's
liberated
so
in that
true.
sense. So maybe because I came here when I was more of an adult, like when I was 29. So I don't think like, oh, I'm not like someone else, because I was tired of being like everyone else. So it's like, so to
Mm-hmm.
speak, I wasn't really standing out. I think this has a lot to do with like, because when I was in school, or when I was in in the office, I was less outspoken, so I was more quiet. So every time I'm thinking about something, it's sort of going on in my head. I mean, like introvert kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't really verbalize until I'm 100% sure it's correct. So when I came here, I started to be less of thinking whether what I'm saying is right or wrong, because I realized there's no absolute right or wrong. So something that is right in
Yeah.
Singapore when I come over here could be wrong, or maybe something was wrong in Singapore when I do it here is actually very normal. So to me, I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, no one's thinking like I can do this, or for example, if I don't celebrate any of those Chinese festival here, nobody's going to ask me, because it's okay. But some of the festivals that we used to celebrate in Singapore, to me, it wasn't such a big deal anyway. But everyone was like, oh, it's a festival. Everyone's a tradition. Everyone's doing it, so you have to do it,
Mm-hmm.
kind of thing. So
Yeah.
you see,
I love this such a great point, and it reminds me of why I love traveling so much. It's really not about the specific country. It's really more about being outside of any sort of norms. Like in Korea, nobody knows me, and that's why I started my reinvention journey. And because I feel like I'm free, it's just like what you mentioned, nobody's watching me. So now, even like coming back to the U.S. and I feel like different. I feel like I don't have to follow the rules that much. I don't know, but I love this point. I so agree. Yeah, yeah.
I think that was
It's
what
breaking.
made it possible as well because we have the internet, we have social media, and I think in the past, because there was no internet and social media, it becomes more difficult to meet people who are more like-minded. Maybe people who live in the same location, they might not think the same as you, or you might have a different thought because everyone's in that same environment. Everyone should think similarly or identical. And then if you
Yeah,
have something different, like something totally out of the box, like it's very difficult to talk to anyone or grow or exchange some ideas. But with the internet, with social media, I mean, there's plus and minus. I mean, like minus more of like the mental health issue and things
yeah,
comparison. But then on the bright side, when you put yourself out there, like Dot Leung mentioned in our last episode, she talked about putting herself out, sharing stories, and then people knowing about her, and then they will go like, wow, okay, that's like me, and then that's something I'm really interested in, and then you get to bond with these people who might not be living next door.
yeah, yeah. I so agree. Like I really have to again think being outside of the U.S. When I was in the U.S., I feel like I didn't really take advantage of social media. Like a few years ago, I was like because I felt like everybody was near me. But when I left the U.S., I felt like oh my God, I had no friends in Korea, and that's really propels me to really, really, really leverage social media, and that's how and when I became really active. And I was like, wow, this is just really amazing, really, really amazing. So I have a question. So when did you start using social media the way you are using social media now? Like you have an amazing community on LinkedIn.
I think that's probably, I think it was 2017, I think, more of
Mm.
2017. I quit the job around 2016, but I was a little bit more active on Facebook, and then LinkedIn was going through a change, and then I started becoming active in 2017, I think. And I was like, wow, okay,
Mm.
this is really cool. Because I think LinkedIn is very much different from Facebook somehow. Like, I was able to resonate better with people on LinkedIn compared to Facebook. But maybe because I didn't use much of Facebook anyway, I didn't really have that many friends. So it was sort of like more challenging. And
Mm-hmm.
but what I realized was like even though a lot of people might think LinkedIn is very formal, but what I see LinkedIn has is actually half, I mean, like they used to be formal, but there is now like changing. I've met people
Mm.
who are not so formal. So even though they might be formal in real life, I mean on online, but actually when I meet them, they're actually not that formal. I mean there's one of these
Yeah.
connections I made through LinkedIn, Bill Tomov, and he brought his family on a holiday in January, and then he asked for a meetup, and then I met him and his family, and oh my goodness, he wasn't as serious as his reply to me. And then he was like so humorous, and I was like, and we even did like a couple of videos together. Yeah. And
Wow,
I
that's
also
awesome.
know his
Yeah.
twin brother online, but his twin brother didn't come. But then it's like basically like I know him, I know his family, like his daughter, I know his wife. And
Yeah.
yeah, so it's
Yeah.
not that. I think
Yeah.
it's more of like if anyone feels like LinkedIn was too formal, I think it's maybe you haven't met the right people. There are people who are not so formal on LinkedIn as well.
Yeah. But I think that's a good point. I think, I even like yesterday I had Jeff Hunter on my show, and he was talking about how he and his team helped one of their clients to do a 1 minute video of why that person left her job. So it is a business story, but at the same time, there's that human component. And that post almost went viral. Like, lots of like really Great content. Yeah. So I agree. I think, like humanize and telling like personal stories, even on LinkedIn, people will resonate with that. Yeah. Yeah. So
Definitely.
maybe we can share with, I think so far we discussed a lot about, being in the unknown and embracing mistakes and failures and reinventing. So how about someone in the live audience watching this right now? How about some people, or maybe watching the replay, if they are going through a hard time, and maybe they are going through what we went through earlier, Clarice, when you quit your job, when I just went to Korea. So what's some tips that we can share with our audience, like in terms of just like coming back? I saw Emily, she used the word resilience. I can't agree more with her. It is such an important thing. But like, what can we do? How do we prepare ourselves to be more resilient? What do you do? How do you bounce back?
How do we become more resilient?
Yeah, like when you are having like going through a challenging time,
Okay,
what do you do? I can start if you need to think about
yeah,
it.
I've got that now. So I think one thing is you have to think that whatever you do, it's not going to be worse, if that makes sense. Like, it's not the end of the world, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever you're going through now, it could be very difficult, but if you go through it, you're gonna be becoming a better person, you're gonna become a stronger person, and many years down the road, when you look back at it, you realize, oh my god, actually it wasn't that bad after all. So I think
Yeah.
if you every time when you're going through a really tough period, think of the previous time you were going through an equally tough period, and then you realize, oh, you didn't die, so you know, so you're fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
What about
Yeah.
yourself, I?
Yeah. Like, I think for me, definitely on top of what you mentioned, it's really listening to. I share with you in 2017 was a very tough year for me. That was the year I started to really listen to podcasts. Like, I want to heard or like hear stories from others who were going through a tough time, but they all came back. I said, wow, if those people can do it, why not me? I think it's like that's why each of us, we need to come out and share our stories, because you just don't know at which point of your life or your story can change another person's life. Like so many of those people, I don't even know. I just discovered their stories through a podcast I listened to. I was like, wow, that is so encouraging. So that really helps me a lot. And also, I love meditation. So I think meditation, just have some quiet time, really meditate, and expands my heart. Learn to forgive others, and most importantly, learn to forgive ourselves. And so I think those two things, allow yourself to be who you are, to make mistakes. Actually, speaking of which, today I listened the same podcast I mentioned earlier. And this lady, she said that this is where you are, this is where you need to be. And the bridge is actually based on like a bunch of F, so failures. And she said that, in traditional school environment, it's you pass an exam, you earn an A. It's like from here to there, it is based on success, right? You have to pass all those courses. But in life, if you want to become an entrepreneur, from here to there, it's a journey of failures. So I think that is so true, because every mistake I make helps me become better. So the journey itself actually transforms me and prepares me for the next bigger thing. So now I just start to embrace that and don't feel so, like, I guess, anxious and scared of it.
Oh, I can definitely see that in you. Like you starting a new school, classroom without walls, starting a new academy that's going to be launching in hopefully December.
Yeah, yeah. So the program is going to happen in December, but I'm still working on the website. We'll probably start promoting it
Mm-hmm.
in August. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So was
I'm
this
so scared, so scared. Oh my God. Every single cell in my body is so scared and excited at the same time. I think that's kind of a pattern for me now. Almost all the decisions I make, I'm also thinking about homeschool our children. We have two young children. I'm definitely thinking about homeschooling my older one, almost 8 years old. That's going to be another huge decision. But I think I have embraced that. It's just going to be part of who I am now, being excited and being scared at the same time. Yes.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
I think it means that we're growing. Do you feel the same way, Clarice?
Yeah.
I'm sure you are speaking at Inbound like with so many people in the audience now, like, oh, okay. But you probably also feel like, oh, right, a little bit. But I think like in
No,
situations like that, it means that we're
when
growing.
I mean, like, just one simple things like going live. Like today, right now, I mean, like, we have Rose Brun joining us right now, and then he's asking, is I using a green screen or a DSLR or both? So the technology that I'm using today, it's actually something that I haven't really tried before. So it's a new setup. So we are both speaking through Skype, and then the Skype feeds into Ecamm, and Ecamm is connected to Restream, and it's going out to Facebook, LinkedIn, Periscope. Yeah, and yeah, that's where it has all gone. To me, it's like a learning process. I mean, like some time back, I would be like, oh my god, like this technology, is everything okay? I'm like, okay, now I'm good. We've got a good connection. We are live streaming on the platforms. People are joining us. We're sharing stories. Our takeaway, and now, yeah, we're just all good. I think I is excited to
Yeah,
share a
so
new
yeah, thank
camera.
you, Ross. Ross is my dear friend, so thank you for being here. So this is actually something new I just bought at VidCon, and it's pretty cool. And this little thing is actually, I told Clarice, is actually waterproof. We can go live underwater next time. And this little thing is really good, and this little tripod, and I can also attach this to my computer. And Inbound, we actually got a pretty good deal. And because I used to carry my big room light, it's just too much to travel. Right now, I'm actually at a science museum. I think everybody laughed because I was so loud. Because our children, they don't have school today, so I was like, you know what? I brought my gear and I'm doing this in a public space.
Public space, yeah, going live. Do you know that's something that just still blows me away? You are like, I think one of the episode, was it the last time with Dot, you were actually in a supermarket. Going live in a
I
supermarket.
I know. I have totally embraced it. I can even show everyone. Let me move my camera a little bit.
Yeah.
So this is me. This is my setup. I don't know if you guys can see. And
Yeah.
this is like people, lots of toys. Yes, I have totally embraced this. Totally, yeah.
This is all new. See, this is the first time I is doing it in the museum. This is the first time I'm using some new tools to go live on all platforms. So I think getting used
Oh,
to new things,
yeah.
learning new things. I mean, it's all part of the journey.
Totally. And also, I discovered the first time doing anything is the hardest. The second time is getting easier. Third time even easier, and then become your second nature. But this thing will not become your second nature unless you start with the first one, right?
Oh
Just
yes,
get started. Get
yeah,
started. Totally.
definitely. And I think one of the
Yeah.
things that
Yeah.
we are going to be like, I think if anyone is watch our first episode to our current episode, you have seen the differences. How we have evolved, how we have changed, maybe less nerves, and different time zone. Oh yes, and I used to go live in South Korea at 6 o'clock in the morning, and it was like 9 o'clock my time, and then it became 10 o'clock. Yeah, and then now I is actually behind, moving back to Philadelphia. So I'm the one who's still up at
So
10.
sad.
And
So sad. Yeah, yeah. But I think like so many like people ask me like what I use technology. I agree. Technology. You want to make sure your sound is okay, your video, audio, everything's okay. But I think I shared this before. The hardest part of running an interview is actually the interview. Hosting the interview, having good questions, and maintaining a conversation and that's and then keep doing the interview. I think those are the things that make a good show becomes a great show.
yeah, definitely. I think getting good questions, guiding it. I don't think it has to be a script because I'm not a very script person. So I feel like, going with the flow a little bit. We have some questions to guide us, making sure we are sharing something of value to our audience. I think that's really crucial. And we have great stories from our different guests and getting the best out from them. So, for people who are following us in our community, who wants to take a step forward but don't quite know how, or you might need like a bit of support, or hearing stories about how others have overcome their challenges. This is the show to follow. The CBA show.
Exactly. The CBA show will become brave again. Whatever you are thinking about doing and trying to do, don't be scared, and just believe in yourself and learn to become brave again.
Yep, definitely. And speaking
Yeah.
of which, I think we're coming to the end. What I'll be doing is I'll be sharing like some of the links for our different episodes if anyone wants to catch up on them and hear some of the stories. And I've also edited a little clip, 6 to 7 minutes clip, yay, on
Yeah.
some of
Thank
the
you so much,
highlights.
my
Yeah.
dear.
So I've already shared it on Facebook, so I'll be sharing it on LinkedIn, probably maybe tomorrow. So everyone can take a look. If they don't have time to look through everything, you can look at episodes and see which one resonates a little bit more with you. You want to follow us.
Check all of them out. Check all of them out.
Yes. If you are
Especially
on
the one
summer
with
holiday,
Clarice
yes,
and
check all
myself.
of them out. Yeah, and we have like Ross still with us, and he's saying that the content and conversation are more important than the tech. Absolutely. I think
And
I
Rex, he has a great show. Yeah.
that's our core beliefs, that the content and the conversation, we're asking the right questions, getting the best out of our audience. This is what we are focusing more on. So if you are hesitating on doing your videos, going out on social media, putting yourself out, don't think too much about getting the perfect tag, just doll yourself up, put your best self, and get some good questions
Exactly.
and just go.
Yeah, I think one way to kind of reduce that pressure a little bit is stop thinking so much about yourself. Your show is for your audience. Like my personal show, besides this one with the Clarice, I have a personal show. Like I feel like my show is no longer my show; it's our show, me and my audience. So I really don't think that much about myself. So if you feel so anxious about hosting or starting a show, really try to think about what value you can offer to your audience. I think that like kind of shift in how we think about this can reduce some mental pressure.
Definitely. And I think,
So maybe you can share our upcoming guest.
yes, for our upcoming guest, we are having Making, the matchmaker, would we say that, between the two of us. That's how we got connected. So she's
Want to share her screen, Clarice, her LinkedIn screen?
over
Can you do
LinkedIn
that?
screen. I'm going to have some challenges. I don't think that's going to work, but
Oh no, don't worry about it. Yeah, don't worry about it.
yeah, I think well, the story that she'll be sharing with us is she was born in England, and she moved to Australia, and she moved back. So she's got a lot of stories to share. She's also known as we always make tea puns with her, making tea. She used to be very much involved in tea as well, and recently she's been very active live tweeter, doing at live events, creating formal moments. Oh yeah, I've met Making in real life. Actually, she's really awesome. Like, she can actually type on social media, replying to everybody and actually listening to the conversation at the same time. How do you do that? How do you tweet and actually listen? Well, we're going to ask her. Yeah. So I think that's
Yeah, yeah,
going
that's
to be very exciting to have her on board. She's going to share her story, and we'll be learning some, good nuggets of wisdom from her. So I'm really looking forward. Oh, that's happening next Tuesday because of
join
the
us
live.
live.
Yes, join us live if you can. It's going to be at is it 11 or 12 GMT +1, which is British summertime. I think it's about noon time. Yeah, between 11 to 12. That's the time that we are having. So she's in a different time zone. She's in the same time zone as me, but yeah.
Yeah, she's in the UK. Yeah, yeah.
And yeah,
Awesome. Yeah.
we have also quite a number of upcoming guests. We have So do stay tuned to our channel. Don't forget to subscribe to us on YouTube and follow us on our LinkedIn page. We haven't created a Facebook page. We have our Instagram account too. Follow us there. And if you
You're
know
so
of
good, Claire.
anyone who has an awesome story to share
That's
about,
yeah.
their growth, the journey, moving from a country to another country, changing things, being comfortable with being uncomfortable, and creating magic out of their comfort zone, yeah, do let us know.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. And we are thinking about increasing the frequency of our show from monthly to bi-monthly. So if you have any recommendations, definitely let us know. At the same time, I think the museum is closing, so I need to
Okay.
kind of
Cool.
collect my children. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
so thank you for all of you who have joined us today. Really awesome, especially with a couple of cool people. Ross has went off. She's going to get ready for his show. So thank
Yeah,
you
make
very
sure you
much.
guys follow Ross. He's great. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
So
Thank you so much,
thank
Clarice.
you so much.
Thank you so much,
Bye.
everyone. Emily stayed with us the entire time, so thank you so much.
Yes, cool. So we'll see you guys again next Tuesday. Don't forget with making. Bye-bye.
Bye.